Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Hey, folks, it's Juneteenth holiday. I know a lot of people are off, but we're not. We're battling here from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, and I got a lot to talk about today. If you missed it, my guy, Matthew Fitzpatrick, the young Englishman, wins the U.S. Open. May have been the greatest golf tournament I've ever witnessed. We'll talk with JC here in just a second. College World Series is rolling right along, and I believe hockey. I don't know if the Lightning want to show up for the series or if they're just going to skate like me and JC skate, but they're getting blasted by the Avalanche. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline.
All right.
And we're joined by JC. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Hey, man. Good morning. Now explain something to me about your guy Fitzpatrick. He, I know he hails from Britain or whatever, but did he not grow up in that area that he won just recently yesterday? He did not. Okay.
He didn't.
So
he did not. He has a good. He won the U.S. amateur there. Okay.
Right.
And he stayed with the family at their house.
Okay.
When he was an amateur, stayed with the same family again. So, but no, he's from over there, and really good player. You know, he has like the highest average of birdies per round on the tour, and he just hasn't won. But boy, he put it all together yesterday. Phenomenal. If he doesn't three putt twice from like 20 feet, it wouldn't even been close. But what a golf tournament! What a venue! They haven't played there since 1988 for some reason, and that place should be. Every other 2 or 3 years they should be playing the U.S. Open there. That's a phenomenal golf course.
So basically, he came over here and trained, or basically just became a golf academy type of person. Lived with a family. He never. So No, JC. He qualified for the U.S. Amateur. I get that.
He had nowhere to stay, and a lot of these golfers, when they're young, families take them in for the few days that they're there.
Okay.
That's what he did. He was only in Brookline for just the U.S. Amateur that year.
Okay.
It's not. He didn't live in the U.S. He's from England.
I must have misheard something, because I misheard something about him running across the fairway to go to school, and I don't know if that's something.
No, you're thinking of the guy that they kept showing his house. I can't pronounce his name, but it's not. Who's the guy that won the U.S. Open in 1913?
Oh, okay. You're talking about Francis Ouimet. Okay, I got it. All right.
Yes, that's the guy that had to go across the fairway to get to school.
All right, I follow you now. Okay, and he beat Harry Vardon, who was the great golfer back in those days. Okay, Brookline's got a lot of history. I understand what you're saying when you say, why hasn't there been more golf there? It's in Southwest Boston, so I mean, certainly easy to get to. It should be anyway, with the airport. And I just, I don't know. That's a good question. I did enjoy watching it, though. I will say this: my guy Zalatoris literally came, a centimeter from forcing a playoff. Came out to a very rough start, bogeyed first 2 out of 3 holes. He falls behind by 3-4 strokes, and he battles back. And I say this over and over again, but it's got to be just a matter of time until Will Zalatoris wins a major. And I like him to be somebody that we hear a lot of going in the future. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. I mean, look, it's a young man's game. You can say what you want to say. We know Mickelson won the PGA last year, but look, those dudes cannot compete with the young guns on this tour. Fitzpatrick's 27, Scheffler's 25, Zalatoris is 25.
Yeah.
Hideki, I don't even know if he's 30 yet. Morikawa is like 27. Roy's 32, but look, it's just a different game. And these guys are so talented. Like as you said, Zalatoris is going to win. I mean, he was close in the last 3 majors. He's coming second. But yeah, I mean, anybody that thinks these older guys can play, and that's why, the LIV guys only had, I think, 4 out of 19 guys make the cut. But the guys that made the cut had no chance. And I think those guys have realized that they cannot compete on the PGA Tour. So I'm going to take my money and I'm going to go play exhibitions. And I thought it was a wonderful weekend for the PGA Tour. One of these, I think I sent you this tweet. I died laughing because Colt Knost, I can't pronounce his name. Yeah. He's a broadcaster, or he's always a guy that's on a hole following a player or whatever. And he tweeted, and this is true, I'm just glad they were all going to finish on hole 18. I mean, could you think about the way the LIV Golf Tour is? Shotgun start. You come down to what Fitzpatrick and Zalatoris on hole 7. They finish on hole 7. I mean, how dumb would that be?
Well, and not only is it dumb, but it's not real to me. I mean, you got 3 days instead of 4. You've got, I don't guess there's a cut. I don't think you have a cut.
No, there's not a cut.
Well, it's like we've been saying over and over again, QB. The best golfers on earth play here, and they will always play here. This has the most marketability, the most prestige, and the most talent, the most competition. It's really not hard to understand. It's fine that these folks want to throw money around and try to attract a couple of washed-up golfers like Ricky Fowler and people like that. But I don't want Will Zalatoris to become a Ricky Fowler with all these bridesmaids finishes. I just want him, and I think he will play to the point where we'll start seeing him as a major winner at some point very soon. But having said that, you're right about the LIV Tour. I'm right about the LIV Tour. We're right about the LIV Tour, and it's fine. Let them have their thing. But it's not something I think about. I almost think of it as a rich man's USFL. It's kind of like, imagine paying all these great players. The Saudis came in and paid Tom Brady and all these older players and players that don't or they're not playing in the NFL to go make up their own football league or something, which doesn't even make sense. So I just think it's going to be nice. It's kind of novel. It's cute, but I don't think it's got lasting power because the best golf is played on the PGA Tour, and everybody knows it. And that's where the most of the players are going to play. Colin Morikawa and Hideki Matsuyama, they want to win here, and they know what that means, and so do all the golfers who play on the PGA Tour. By the way, QB, I just saw a guy. I have 2 white stakes in my common ground here from my yard to the golf course. And some guy hit the ball 10 feet to the out of bounds part of the stakes, damn near in my backyard, and kept playing. I said, "Aren't you out of bounds?" He goes, "It doesn't matter." And he kept playing. So golf.
He didn't want to play by the rules.
I guess he didn't. And that's kind of like what you're saying. These guys that go to the LIV Tour don't want to play with the best competition. And that's their choice. They can do it if they're invited. So.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a tremendous golf tournament. I know a lot of people that listen to our program aren't golf fans or play golf or watch a lot of golf. But I will tell you this. I really believe it was the best golf tournament I've ever watched. The competition, the golf course, the venue was just outstanding. My only complaint was NBC, who I love the commentators. I think Mike Tirico is probably the best in the business. But Azinger, everybody on course, I love how they cover golf, but the network has way too many commercials for me, especially for the U.S. Open. They got to do something about that, and it was an issue. But it was a phenomenal golf tournament. The Peaceland Dentistry picks are pretty good, JC, because you picked Zalatoris and I picked Matt Fitzpatrick.
That's right.
And I'll be damned if they weren't in the final group and both had a chance to win it.
And we were very close for the PGA as well, I think, and TPC. I mean, folks, if you want to know who's going to get it done in golf, you need to tune in on Fridays or Wednesdays. Wednesday's the day. Get tuned in. We'll give you a chance. We will give you a chance to do something special and pick a winner, because I think we have our pulse on it. We like it, QB, and I think there's more viewers than you think that actually like it. They just don't type it in. I do believe that, QB. I believe that very much. How can you not like? It's what people watch on summer Sundays. That's what you watch. The other thing that was on was the College World Series. Watch that, and Texas is a history. Texas is gone. That was the team that everybody said was the odds-on favorite to win the College World Series, and they didn't last 3 days. QB.
Doing a barbecue. The Longhorns are headed home, and so if you missed that last night, A&M beats the Longhorns, so they're done. A&M moves on, stays alive, and in the winners bracket game last night, OU, just they're hot, the hottest team in college baseball right now, beats Notre Dame, so they move on. And then today you have a loser leave town match. Who's in the loser leave town match?
The loser leave town match today is Stanford and Auburn. And
that's right, Stanford and Auburn.
I like all the SEC teams. I tell you, Mississippi, man, to give right now, you're right. Maybe the hottest team is Oklahoma, followed by or next to Arkansas. But is anybody pitching better than Mississippi right now? I mean, they went to Hattiesburg, no runs allowed. They go down to Coral Gables 3 and they're done in 3 straight games. They won 3 straight games. They're done. And they allow no runs in the Super Regional, and Auburn gets 1 in the College World Series. They're pitching the ball as well as any team in that College World Series is still playing right now, and that could be something. Wouldn't it be something if your home state, the Magnolia State, ends up going back-to-back in the College World Series?
Yeah, it could happen. I think it's I think 5 out of the last 6 years that the state of Mississippi's had a representative in the College World Series. So I don't have the bracket in front of me. I don't know. I still think Arkansas, I picked Arkansas to beat A&M for the national title. Okay. Is Ole Miss on the same side as Arkansas?
They are.
All right. The Hogs, this is a year for the Hogs, man. I'm telling you.
I got to believe
they got screwed. They got screwed a couple years ago, should have won it. I think they get it this year. We got a couple texts on the Titan MR text line. Ryan says, "Happy Monday, fellas. Shane, I've been up to Ponte Vedra for a few TPC practice rounds, but never attended a live PGA event. But if I did, I certainly wouldn't be one of those idiots that screams after every shot like it's the best stroke they've ever seen, and then it lands in a bunker. As for Fitzpatrick's approach out of the bunker on 18, that immediately evoked memories of Sandy Lyle at the Masters. That was ice in the veins type of stuff right there. Thanks for the text. Look,
that was a great shot.
They say that kid, which he did, like I said, he hit 17 of 18 greens, best ball striking ever in a major golf tournament. He had two greens where he 3-putted like from 15, 20 feet because he was too aggressive, but his ball striking was unbelievable.
He also made a couple bombs, QB. So,
yeah.
So just because he 3-putted didn't affect his confidence at all. And that's what, when you say ice in the veins, to me, putting does it all. It's like putting and driving, right? You hit a few sideways, and then it really affects you. You miss or 3-putt a couple greens, and then all of a sudden it affects you. It didn't do either to him. He was very accurate. He was extremely confident and well composed. And when he putted, it didn't seem like missing. A 13 could have been a disaster. He fell 2 strokes behind Zalatoris after 13, and he only had 6 holes left or 5 holes left. So he just refused to lose, as they say, and good for him. It's a great thing to see a fresh major champion. I think we're going to see more from this kid. Wouldn't be surprised if he lit it up at St. Andrews. And I don't know. I mean, it's. I was hoping for an American to win the U.S. Open, but I don't have any problem with Matt Fitzpatrick. I think he's a good kid, and he and Jack Nicklaus are the only 2 to win the U.S. Open and the U.S. Amateur on the same court. Now that's pretty good company right there, QB. Only him and Jack.
Yeah, that's crazy. JC, let me ask you this. Scotty Scheffler was in the hunt, obviously.
Great play.
He's had a phenomenal year.
Unbelievable.
If he would have won, I think he was 1 shot back. If he would have won the U.S. Open, which would have been his 2nd major this year, and I want to say his 6th win of the year, what was the best year Tiger had? I was trying to remember. I know Tiger won probably 7 or 8 times on tour, in the same year, but did he win multiple majors in the same year?
I think there was a year he won 3 majors, and they were all talking about the Grand Slam. But I think he got the career Grand Slam within 12 months, but it wasn't in the same year, meaning he won a major in 1 year and then 3 the following. So then the other 3 the following. So I think that was his best year, was when he did that, because I remember the talk being, can Tiger win the Grand Slam? That's I don't know what year it was, but I do think that, and I'm pretty certain there was a year that Tiger Woods won 3 majors in 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Fred Biondi,
or maybe 2,
Gators
or it may
played.
have been it could have been 2 and then 2 the prior year, something like that. But Scheffler, listen, dude, like you said, mid 20-year-olds are destroying these majors. They are just blasting through them. Jon Rahm's another one. I mean, you forget about Jon Rahm. This was a defending U.S. Open champion, and a guy that had the Memorial literally stolen from him because of the ridiculous COVID issues he had to deal with. So I think that he's another guy you can throw in the hat there with the as far as these unbelievable players in their 20s. It's just crazy.
It's staggering. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit OgreInsurance.com or give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline, we have a Titan MR text from an anonymous texter. I think this is a Charlotte area code. It says, JC, you need to keep a blowhorn on your deck to sound during the person's backswing when they hit out of your yard.
Dude, that is a great idea. I appreciate that. I didn't mind. I mean, it didn't bother me. I was kind of just watching and laughing because I'm thinking, is he really going to hit this ball? And damn if he didn't. And he put it back in the fairway.
So he took a divot out of your nice yard.
No, he just kind of punched. No, he just punched it out of the St. Augustine grass there. I was like, okay, bro. I mean, you do know you're out of bounds. He goes, yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. By the way, QB, speaking of JC news, jumped on the scale. This is for Joseph, one of our great listeners and viewers. Joseph jumped on the scale at the St. Augustine Beach Publix and tapped 207. Okay, 207. That's 7 pounds off 215 and 7 or 8 and 7 from 200 on my way to sub 200. Think about it. I've got a sweatshirt on right now.
What is your fighting weight supposed to be?
I got to get down to one. The doctors. Well, no, I got to get down into the 190s, 180s. I mean, I'm not tall, but I'm somewhat heavier than I need to be. Yeah,
stout. You're stout.
Yeah, something like that.
Low center of gravity.
I'm going for 190. That would be great for me, and I'd hit the golf ball out farther too, I think, and the tennis ball faster. So,
Fred sends a text here on the Titan MR text line. He says, "Hey guys, did y'all see Peyton Manning at the College World Series and what they put on the scoreboard? It said Eli Manning's brother. Did you see that?"
No. Well, it must have been during the Ole Miss game. Is that what happened? Because I didn't see the Ole Miss game.
I don't know. He's been out there every time I flip on the channel. I mean, it was more than just Ole Miss. It was the Ole Miss game if they put that up on the Jumbotron.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's been at a bunch of games out there. I don't know if he's got his kids out there or what. Lauren Meadows says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, try CrossFit, JC. That'll get you in shape.
Wow, that's good. Well, 20 years ago I would have, but at the
Well, there's people your age doing CrossFit.
Okay. Well, that sounds awfully painful.
We got a Facebook Live question here, brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. John says, good question on Get Up this morning. Who did NFL defenders fear more, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning? What do you think about that, Justin?
Well, QB, you might be more qualified to answer that. I would say, I don't know, but I would guess that it would be probably, we have a friend that played against Peyton Manning and got wore out every time they played the Colts. Of course, you could say that for a lot of folks that played against Tom Brady. Right now, the NFL quarterbacks of the past when does training camp start? In a month, QB? Is that when it is? July?
Well, a lot of them have been doing the OTAs or the mini camps, but yeah, training camp usually starts late July. So, or about now, I'd say we're about a month away.
So if you had a quarterback, and we've asked you this question many, many times, and your answer, you made it pretty clear what your answer was. If you had a quarterback to start a team with today, I'm thinking that you would say it's different than the guy you picked a couple years ago. But who is that guy?
Well, hang on a second. Matt says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law. I'm 50 and do CrossFit 5 to 6 days a week. Stop making excuses. JC, quit making excuses.
Hey, Matt, grab.
I've always said Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen.
Yes,
and
but who would you start?
He can do it all.
Who would you start a team with?
Boy, it would. I don't even know how old is Aaron Rodgers right now.
I want to say he's in his upper 30s.
You think? I think he's probably about 34.
Well, he's been playing
33?
for 17, 18 years. Would have to make him 38 or something.
He ain't been playing that long, has he?
It's a lot. It's been I think it's 17 years at least. Yeah. And
I might have to look that up.
He is great, but
okay, so I'm gonna go with a young gun, and my guy's gonna be. I would start my team with Josh Allen.
Okay, that's who I thought you were going to say, and that's what I expected you to say. And 2 years ago, you said Patrick Mahomes, and it's the same kind of guy, right? I mean, mobile, fast.
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference between those two. I love Pat Mahomes.
Well, that was your answer 2 years ago, QB.
Well, correct, but I've seen Josh Allen now, and what Josh Allen, I think, is just a more polished quarterback who can actually run the football.
Yeah.
But I still, and all, if you take everybody and put them at the same age, I would take Aaron Rodgers over all of them.
Oh, at the same age, maybe. Yeah. But, Aaron's not really had that great of a run in the postseason, QB. And it's not always
I don't care.
It's not always his fault.
I think a lot of it's the organization's fault, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Green Bay has certainly not helped him, and I totally agree with that. I mean, everybody wants to jump on his playoff record, but look at what he's surrounded by. And certainly last year they were a team that should have probably made it to the Super Bowl, and he didn't have a great game against San Francisco. But where does Green Bay go without him, right? They don't get to that game without him during the season. So I do think that, if you listed 5 quarterbacks, those two, Mahomes and Allen, would be in your top 5. Rodgers would be in your top 5. And then the last 2 in your top 5, you'd have to think about. You'd have to say, well, gosh, I don't think it would be Tom Brady. I don't think it would be Lamar Jackson. I don't think it would be would it be Joe Burrow, maybe? I don't know. He had worst offensive line in history last year, it seemed. Got hit all the time and damn near won the Super Bowl. It can't be Matt Stafford, even though he won the Super Bowl because of all the interceptions he threw last year. But, he had a great supporting cast for the most part. So who would it be? And so that was something I was listening to. And I was thinking to myself, we're talking about quarterbacks in the NFL. We're a month out of training camp, which brings me back to my original question. When is training camp? And it's okay to talk football. We can talk football 12 months out of the year. I'm all for that. But that was something that was on the radio. I just listened to it, I guess, because it kept my attention. But I was thinking, man, we're still a month away from training camp. And I think you're going to see a great season. And I will just say this. I won't get too far into it, but the AFC East with Buffalo and the Dolphins and an improved New York Jets team that I think did very well in the draft and so forth in the offseason could be a very interesting division, and that has some local appeal because of the Dolphins. So I'm thinking that could be an interesting division.
Got a couple of Facebook Lives here brought to you by Melon Law. Asa says A-Rod is 38 years old. I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah.
Joseph says, no, QB, you're crazy. Wasn't Josh Allen a 3-star guy? He's got to suck. That brings up something. And I may do this, or maybe, JC, this will be your homework assignment. We should look at all the quarterbacks, the starting quarterbacks or the superstars in the National Football League, or maybe one of our listeners wants to do this homework assignment. I'm curious, were any of them 5 stars?
Wow.
Because that's the big thing now is, we got to get us a 5-star quarterback out of this state and come to our school and pay him all this money. But now again, you want your school to win football games. You don't care about what happens at the next level. That's why I've told so many people that aren't Gator fans are like, well, Tebow sucked in the NFL. Nobody cares what Tebow did in the NFL. All they cared about is what he did for the Gators, and he was a phenomenal player. So, it goes both ways. But I'm curious. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head how many of the star quarterbacks. Now, Matt Stafford was a highly rated kid coming out of Texas who went to Georgia. I don't know if he was a 5-star, but you knew he was going to be a great player. But that would be a kind of an interesting deal, don't you think, JC, to figure out how many of them were 5-stars?
No, I think it would be, and you're going to find a couple. How was Eli thought of when he was being recruited and went to Ole Miss? QB, do you remember that?
I mean, he wasn't what Arch is coming. I mean, now, granted, I think media and social media and these ratings and stuff have changed because they didn't even have stars when I came out in 1988. Or maybe they did and I didn't get one. But, I think that's all come about recently. But, I mean, I don't think Peyton was considered a 5-star when he went to Tennessee. I could be wrong. Obviously Tom Brady wasn't highly recruited. Aaron Rodgers had to go JUCO. Josh Allen had to go play at Wyoming because nobody wanted him. I mean, I think we can go on and on and on, but it would be an interesting discussion. Joseph says Stafford, Tua, and maybe Lamar. I can't think of any others. I don't know if Lamar was considered a 5-star because he went to Louisville. So he was probably a 3 or 4-star with a lot of talent. Now, Tua was highly rated coming out. So it's just Trevor Lawrence was a 5-star. That's true. Okay. There's a few, but it's a good question. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line for you, JC.
Oh.
It is from Bobby. He says, JC, what is wrong with your Lightning?
I know it's so disappointing. I'm really stunned at how they've just fallen on their backside. I guess the idea here is, and I think we talked about this before the season or before the series, is just how fast Colorado is and how problematic that's becoming for Tampa Bay to try to keep up. Because Tampa Bay is a little bit older. They're an older team. Certainly take nothing away from them, but the goalie too is shaky right now, and that has not happened. There's not been many cases where Andrei Vasilevsky, has allowed 3 goals in the first period in 2 successive games, and that has now happened. And that typically doesn't. When you fall behind 3-0 against a team as fast and as skilled as Colorado, it is over. And so I think in Game 3, unlike when they played the Rangers and fell behind 2-0, the problem they're going to have is keeping up. And the Rangers are not as fast as there's not a team in the NHL that is as fast as Colorado. St. Louis played these guys as tough as any team so far, and likely or could have forced 7 games with their goalie hadn't gotten hurt. St. Louis is that kind of team. I don't know if Tampa Bay has that speed, and so I think it's a problem. And I don't know if this is going to go more than 5 games, having watched the first 2. But one thing I've learned about the Tampa Bay Lightning is that exactly when you think they're dead and gone and buried, somehow they reach back. And listen, they're 2-time defending champs. So don't count them out yet. But if they don't win Game 3, you count them out, obviously. They have to actually win both games. Otherwise, it's going to go 5.
Isn't that Game 3 tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight and Wednesday. So tonight and Wednesday, they have to win both to force a Game 6. But if they split in Tampa, or obviously lose both, but if they split in Tampa, it'll be done in 5 because I don't see them winning right now in Denver with the way things are going. Now, if you win these next 2 in Tampa, the momentum, all kinds of things can come into play. Maybe there's an injury. Maybe there's some doubt with Colorado because of all the pressure that they have to win it because of them being thought of as the best team in hockey, and they have certainly been that way this year. But right now, it looks pretty open and shut for Colorado to win their first cup since they did years ago with Raymond Bourque, who they got from the Bruins, who was a Hall of Fame player. So I don't know. I don't know how how they're going to keep up with the speed of Colorado, but they are defending Cup champs. We're going to see what that means to them tonight in Tampa at home.
Yeah, must win tonight for the Lightning for sure. JC, before we let you go, you were talking to me before the show about an article you read about the Pac-12 commissioner.
All right.
Would you like to tell our listeners what that's all about? Because I don't believe it.
Okay, yeah. This is by Nicole Auerbach. who writes for The Athletic. She's very good. They all are on that service. But the Pac-12 commissioner, George Kliavkoff, said the NCAA should not govern college football. In the column, he talks about why there are 32 conferences making decisions on college football. And currently, college football playoff is managed by the 10 FBS conferences. So I think, QB, when he says 32 conferences, he's including FCS that has voting rights in this. And I don't know why or how, but that would be the only way they could have 32 conferences. I can't figure out how you would have 32 conferences. I think it's got to include, well, it does include FCS. It has to. So, and I didn't know that there were 32 conferences governing all of college sports. I had no idea. And that's what it says in the piece.
I mean, it's got to be, Division I, Division, 2, or, FCS, FBS, and maybe even Division III, because 32 conferences is a lot. There's not 32 conferences in Division I.
And so
sports.
He's criticizing that the idea of 32 conferences governing all of college sports being too big. He wants the basic conferences, the Power Five, and maybe one or two Group of Five conferences, basically having all of the say-so in how college football is run, and separating itself, college football, from some of the other sports in college sports and athletics. And it makes sense, but I think right now these folks have got to figure out and they've got to have some consensus on so many different things. And before you know it, 3 years will be up, and most of these, majority of these TV contracts will be having to be renewed. The Pac-12's TV contract, I think, comes up next year, as does, I want to say, the Big Ten, which is now the Big 14. But I think we're going to see a lot of changes here in the next 12 to 24 months. I think it's inevitable. I just wish we didn't have to wait, and hopefully we won't have to wait 3 more years for Texas and Oklahoma and a college football playoff to be reorganized. But I do think the reason we're not talking about Texas and Oklahoma joining the league anytime soon, before 2025, isn't necessarily financial on their part, but rather the SEC not being ready to bring them in and incorporate them into scheduling and every kind of other planning initiative that has to take place 12 months in advance. I just don't think the league here is ready for it. I think they want them in, but I just don't think the league is ready. I don't think writing a check for $60 million would be that big a deal for Texas. The hell, they've done it already for their upgrades, for their stadium upgrades, for everything that they receive on their TV contracts, and the fact that they are just Texas should not prohibit them from writing a check to get out of their TV contract. But I don't think the league is giving them, the league being the SEC, is giving them the green light saying, okay, come on over now. And I wish it would. I'm ready for a 9-game playoff, or a 9-game schedule rather, and a different playoff format. I'm ready for that. I think everybody is. I'm just so tired of talking about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Asa says here on Facebook Live, he did some homework assignment for us. I'm not sure how many years this includes, because this is more than the quarterbacks that are in the league. But he says 19 5-star, 73 4-star, 110 3-stars, 32 2-stars, and 21 not ranked. So I'm not sure, but that's way more than the quarterbacks that are in the league. But we appreciate you doing that,
yeah.
Asa. JC, before we go,
yeah,
as you said, pro football is right around the corner, but I want to say we are 76 days away.
Yeah.
When college football, I could be wrong, but my math ain't great. But I think
You're
it's 76
close
days or maybe 75 days away from college football. So it is right around the corner.
And QB, I noticed that Utah has now become the favorite in the game here. They've gone from 2.5-point underdogs to 2.5-point favorites. Maybe it's because the media is looking at them as being a pretty easy favorite in the Pac-12 conference, which I don't know if that has anything to do with the September game in the Swamp. Probably really doesn't. It has more to do with the players they're going to bring over here. And certainly, depending on what the conditions are like for those young men from the mountains, all things being equal, you're going to see a very good team come here to open the season. And I say that because they are bringing back many players from a team that I think kind of gave away the Rose Bowl. So I don't know. We'll see. See what Florida's got to offer. But like you say, it's a 2-year deal, 2 to 3 years, and then Billy will have what he needs, and Florida will have what it needs, and make up for the lack of investment and the lack of talent on the field over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. There's no question about it. We'll speak about it more with you folks when we get rid of JC here. But the Gators got a big offensive line recruit out of Trinity Catholic, 6'6", like 330, big offensive lineman, has committed to the Gators. And we'll see, I guess, this Saturday about Jaden Rashada, the quarterback. Real quick, JC, I asked Brent Beard this the other day, and somebody just texted about it, want to know your thoughts. Brent Beard's a Heisman Trophy voter, and I asked him, I said, like today, who would be your top 3 or 4 potential Heisman Trophy winners for next year? Who would be yours if you were a voter?
Well, 2 are very easy. It's C.J. Stroud and it's Bryce Young, right? I mean, those are the 2 because of the position they play. But when you think about, okay, give me a position player that's not a quarterback that could win the Heisman Trophy, I've struggled here right off the top of my head, but those first 2 names are pretty simple for me. I mean, just that they were there last year. Stroud is so
struggle with somebody that's not a quarterback?
I don't. Well, there's. I mean,
think about it. The guy that plays for your team.
I know. I am. I mean, I think Will Anderson's the best player on defense, but how many defensive guys get Heisman Trophy wins? I mean, none.
Well, they're not. And this is why I brought this up, because I was talking to Brent.
Yeah.
And obviously, my list would be CJ, Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams is going to put up huge numbers out there.
I could have said Will Anderson QB, but realistically, I just don't know how that is.
But here's the thing. Here's why I say I think Will Anderson has a very good chance of winning it this year. Okay. Because he got screwed last year, not going to with the year he had. He should have been in New York. They took Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan went for some reason.
That's right.
Okay, so think about it. A defensive player got enough love to be invited, okay? And then the critics said, well, this guy, Will Anderson, was the better player. So I think he's not going to fly under the radar. And I think voters are, I don't want to say they're tired of giving it to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I think between CJ, Bryce, and Caleb Williams, I think they're all going to put up huge numbers. I just think Will Anderson has a very good chance, if he stays healthy, of winning it this year.
There's no doubt. And plus, he's got a guy on the other end, Dallas Turner. He didn't have that guy last year for the most part. There was a lot of injuries on that team. And then Aiden Hutchinson comes from a school with massive media coverage and in an area of the country that is very populous. So, him playing for Michigan really helped. If he had played for Utah State or if he had played for Texas Tech, he would not have been invited. And that's not an indictment on his ability, but he played for Michigan. That's why he went there. And he played well, but he was not better than Will Anderson. Okay, he just wasn't, and he isn't. And so I think that you're right. I think Will Anderson would be considered maybe this year because of what happened last year. I do agree with that. But I know how they are on defensive players. I just don't give it to them.
Yeah, that's true. And Asa says all those quarterbacks that he gave us, those numbers for the stars, that was on the rosters as of yesterday on NFL rosters. Appreciate the research there, Asa. Now JC doesn't have to do homework. All right, JC, go back there and get out your fan and repair the divot from the gentleman that took a divot out of your yard. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
We'll see you Wednesday. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Going to take a timeout. Come back, get to some of your Facebook Lives and more text. Get your thoughts on the big offensive lineman out of Trinity Catholic the Gators got a commitment from. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Medici's, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. I know everybody's out celebrating Juneteenth. It's a national holiday today. We appreciate you joining in on our program. Also, what's kind of cool, I don't know if you missed this, but several student athletes for the Gators are studying abroad in Greece. And I think they landed the other day. I don't know how long they're there, but that's pretty cool that they get that opportunity. Also, if you missed it, for the home games in the Swamp this year, each game obviously has where they represent or honor different people. The Utah game will be Essential Workers Appreciation Night. The Kentucky game is the championship reunion weekend where they bring back teams that have won national or SEC titles. South Florida UF Faculty and Staff Appreciation Night. Eastern Washington is the family weekend. Homecoming will be your Missouri Tiger game. And then the LSU game, which is kind of cool, the Tom Petty Day at the Swamp. And then obviously South Carolina in November, on November 12th, saluting those who serve our military folks. So that's kind of gives you a rundown of what's going on with all the home games. And yeah, the Gators are in Greece. I don't know if any football players are on that trip. Maybe some of our listeners know, but I would think they had to stay here to work out. If not, they got lucky. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, Rashad is deciding on Sunday. Okay, so it's Sunday. We'll find out. I don't know what people or how people feel about that situation, if he's going to come here or what. So we shall see. You got joint pain in your shoulders, knees, hip, or back that won't go away. You need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Jonathan says on Facebook Live, brought to you, not Facebook Live, but on the Titan MR text line. He says, QB, I appreciate you talking golf. I'm an avid golfer, but I don't quite understand why they haven't played at the country club in Brookline since 1988. Do you think it will get into the rotation? I sure hope so. I didn't know a whole lot about that golf course, but watching it, just the history there, it was just phenomenal. You know, during the U.S. Open and stuff, they always do these, you know, back in the day stories. It was cool. This African-American, the first ever African-American to graduate from Harvard there in the Boston area, he had a patent on the golf tee, and they were talking about that. He never made any money off of it for whatever reason. He invented the golf tee. I didn't realize that. There were some great stories that came out of there. And boy, what a golf course that is. And I've never played it. Hopefully one day I can play it. But they need to bring back another major there for sure, because it was outstanding. Chris Doering Mortgage, they do mortgage lending, helping homebuyers through Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doering Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. Let's see, there was a couple of Facebook Lives here I needed to get to that I forgot. It was about the 5 stars. Lauren Meadows says Peyton was a 5-star for sure. John is Tua, Justin Fields, and I think Jalen Hurts. I believe you're right about those. So there are some 5-stars starting in the National Football League, but it's interesting. Gene asked here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, and we didn't get to it now that JC is gone. What is JC's weight loss secret? Grapefruit, tennis, falling stock market? I think all of the above, Gino. We appreciate you tuning in. Here's a good question. We were talking about which quarterback we'd like to start our franchise with. And I said either Aaron Rodgers or in his younger days. He's getting old now at 38. Probably Josh Allen would be my guy. John says, who is a non-QB player that you would start a team with? Mine would be Aaron Donald, but he's getting up there in age as well. He just wreaks havoc on folks. And then I'd have to think more about it. But I guess my question to all our listeners out there, just thinking of the Gator football team, and obviously Billy Napier and his staff have been adding piece by piece here and there these commitments for the 23 signing class. Do y'all think Jaden Rashado is going to be a Gator? You know, we had, who was it? I guess it was Edgar Thompson or someone. They weren't sure now that he's changed his signing day. I know Miami's in the mix now. A&M's in the mix. Ole Miss is in the mix. What are y'all thoughts on Jaden Rashada being a Gator? We'll get those when we come back. We're going to take our final time out. We'll get back and we'll do This Day in Sports, which is a good one. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doering Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Are you in the market to buy or sell a home? Doreen Wiebe, a realtor with Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, and reliable service. Give her a call today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MRI hotline. We appreciate y'all joining in and participating in our program. This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give them a call, 352-376-2366. This day in sports in 1988, the U.S. Open at the Country Club. Curtis Strange wins a Monday 18-hole playoff by 4 strokes over Nick Faldo. That's the last time they had it there. They need to go back. It's been way too long. But that's This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. We appreciate them being a part of our program. Got a couple of texts on the Titan MR text line before we get out of here. Aaron says, the Gator Made program seems to be doing a lot for the players. New suits, manners training at Spurrier's. You mean you can't chew with your mouth open? That stuff makes it seem like Napier really cares more about the person than the player. Does that help in recruiting? I think it will eventually, Karen. Billy and his staff, they've done phenomenal stuff. I mean, nobody ever taught me how to, what fork was for your salad, what, does the drink go on the right side or the left side, things of that, when you eat nice meals. I think that's outstanding. They're doing that. Obviously, the suits are great. I've never been a fan of that, though. I've mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I don't think I was ever on a team that was required to wear a suit. Now, people liked wearing suits. I did not. I know people talk about a business trip. When you go play a football game, it's silly to me that you have to get on all in a suit and tie and be so uncomfortable to travel on an airplane or a bus. I've just never understood that. But yeah, will it help in recruiting? It will down the road. What's going to help in recruiting is winning football games. That's the number one thing. Jamal says on Facebook Live, not Facebook Live, on the Titan MR text line. Did you see Bruce Smith going after Baselli last week? Do you think he's just mad they keep showing him getting demolished by Tony? I don't know what's going on there with Bruce Smith. Baselli, a lot of people, if you talk to him, one of the greatest left tackles to ever play the game. I guess Bruce Smith was saying he wasn't the blind side of Mark Brunell, which can make a difference, I guess. But regardless, Tony Baselli deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well as Fred Taylor for the Jags. So we shall see. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Before we get out of here, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tell all your friends and family to follow our program, like it on all the different social media platforms out there. We'll have Buddy on tomorrow. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on in the world of sports. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Enjoy the holiday, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.